Hi, everyone. Coach Sullivan here again with MGS Coaching Football. First of all, I'd like to thank those who have subscribed already, and I'd like to encourage those who haven't. Okay, I just completed my 38th year coaching football, and I was a defensive coordinator, but I've also been a special teams coordinator, an offensive coordinator. I've been a head coach, all both at the collegiate and high school levels. Today, in this presentation, I want to talk to you about our base defense, 3-4 base, in terms of how we line up. Okay. And we have multiple fronts in our 3-4 that qualify under our base alignment rules. And all those fronts, the common denominator is the rover is not a part of the front, meaning he doesn't detach for any reason. Okay. So in our base, the rover may detach depending upon the offensive formations. Okay, so there's the clarifier for you. So today in this presentation, it's specific to 11, one back, one tight end, and 21, right? Two backs, one tight end. So it involves one tight end. There's your commonality. Okay, so versus 11 personnel. The end nose and stud, those are our three defensive linemen. They always stay left and right. Oh, they love that. The R&M, Rover and Mike, they travel to the tight end together. The backer goes opposite the tight end, so that's easy. You know, they know who they're looking for. We give them the numbers of the tight ends, and if there's ever a change, we figure that out and get them that info immediately. Okay? The dime goes to the lizard rip. Now, again, specific to 11, okay? Goes to the lizard rip. In the middle of the field corner and the free safety go to the lizard rip. Ball on the hash, they go to the big field, hence the name, field corner, right? Free safety, F and F. Boundary corner and the whip, middle of the field, they go opposite the lizard rip, and then ball on the hash, right? The name, boundary. They go into the boundary, and the whip stays on the hash. Okay? All righty. Now watch this. This is the beauty of it. When we go to 21 personnel, the dime goes opposite the tight end, and everybody else is the same. Woo! Okay, so understanding that there are multiple formations, okay? The two biggest ones that we faced, up top is the 11, and I give you one middle of the field, one ball in the hash, so I can bring both scenarios into play. Okay. We have Dallas on the left, which is 2x2, double. And we have Texas on the right, which is 3x1 to the tight end. Okay, so I'm going to go over that first. Now, listen, before I go any further, I have no intentions in this presentation of talking about how we adjust to wide receiver MAC motion, or we just call it MAC, motion across. I have no intention of talking about Bob motion. Again, wide receiver, motion into the backfield, structure changes. I have no intentions of talking about that. I also don't intend to talk about tight end trades. All of that is in a separate presentation out of our base package. First things first, getting your guys lined up. Every practice, every meeting, every walkthrough involves an alignment period, if not multiple. Okay, you cannot practice that enough. Okay, it's in my opinion. So, playing it out. These bring in some of our pre-snap calls, which if you go to my 3-4 base pre-snap calls playlist, this is spelled out for you, but only using our huddle playbook. Okay, and I'm in a little inset there, not using the whiteboard. So now I can bring that in for you. Okay, we're also a no huddle defense. So the box, what we call the box 7, the 3D lineman, inside and outside linebackers makes the 7. They scrum up in no particular fashion over the football near the line of scrimmage. The 4 defensive backs scrum up over the football excuse me, but at the depth of the safeties. So in 11 personnel, that's 12 yards. And as we'll see, 21 personnel, if they stay at 12, I don't lose sleep over that. But I like it when they realize we got 21 before the call, so they move up the scrum. No, that tells me they're all set to be tighter to the ball. So I'll bring that in when we get down to 21. So we go through the progressions. The first thing we do, whoever that has that responsibility, shows them the personnel card. We've got 11. The kids know that they scream 11 because sometimes that necessitates personnel substitutions. All right. And then, whatever the call is, when I clap, they all turn face the offense. And obviously things change when it's a up tempo, no huddle. Those are, again, other presentations. So let's keep that out of the mix for now. Okay? So the offense comes out. If the tight end lines up to our left, say left, 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 left. So the rover and the mic, boom, backer goes away. Those three guys are set. Remember the D line, easy. Okay, and I'll get to their techniques in a second in terms of just alignment. Now, the way we set up our Liz or Rip, which is our pass strength, right? R, Rip, right? Liz, L is the opposite, okay? And I'm going to give you that down here in 21 as well as up here over to Texas. So for the Dallas, right now it's left, Rip, left, Rip. So that puts the dime to the right, the field and the free to the right, which means boundary and whip go left. Okay? In other presentations, I talk about how we set our force. So I'm just going to tell you right now, it's sky and less, number 2 detaches. So that's why it's orbit here, 2 is detached. Okay, and he's got to be wider than 5 yards. So the dime, okay, orbit, outside linebacker, when 2 detaches, boom, done. 2 is not detached, tight end, so it stays sky. To keep the proper alignments and leverage, 2 by 12 outside the tight end. Free safety when 2 detaches moves a yard inside, hence 1 by 12. Ike on number 2. Ike is inside, Oscar outside. Got to have buzzwords that you don't use for anything else. That when you say, if you could tell, your press box guy says he's outside at 2. Ike, 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 Ike. That's all you got to say, right? And then the free safety's the stack defender. Double force, more space. Again, another presentation. Up front in our base 3-4 front, the front that everything else spawns from. The rover's in a head up on the tight end, what we call an 8 technique. We go 4-0-4. We're head up across the board. The inside linebackers and what we call B splits on the guard, which means their inside toes on the guard's outside toe. Tangible landmarks. Don't talk about getting on shoulders. And, oh, my God, that's painful reminder to me. In my freshman year, I'm at UMass. I'm Mr. Everything, right? Everybody's an MVP. I get in there. I can't get lined up right because I'm too heavy. I'm too light. So in my dorm room with my roommate, I figured, you play the guard. And it just dawned on me, you know what? I'm going to put my toe in a toe and let the chips fall where they may. But I'm sick and tired of getting yelled at. Crickets from that point forward. I never get yelled at again. That's why I've been coaching it that way since day one. It works. Give it a shot. Toes on toes, tangible landmarks. The defensive linemen go face mask to face mask because offensive linemen get wide. You don't want to try and match their feet. Same for the rover on a tight end. Face mask to face mask, okay? Out here, when your dime detaches, we say no wider than 5. Put your inside toe on your DN's heels. Tangible landmark, okay? From the butt of the tackle to the DN's heels, that's usually about 3 yards, but we say, hey, close enough, okay? Tangible landmarks. The corners are 1 by 7 Oscar, right, outside, and boom, done. That's how we do it. Okay, the 51s relate to gap responsibilities. That's another presentation. Right now, we're focusing on how do we get our guys lined up. Okay, so now over here for the Texas. Purposely, I've got the ball on the hash. This is the hash. BF is big field. All right. So I got the one receiver to the big field on purpose. So this situation here, tight end is now number 3. It's a left call again, but it's also a Liz call. So if you just follow your alignment rules, dime, go to the Liz or rip. You hear Liz, you go left. L left, Liz, boom, done. Liz and rip, that's all we use it for. Okay, so this puts us into what we simply call auto overhang, which means both outside linebackers are on the same side. We know that. They're following their rules. They're not wrong. Whatever you do, establish rules that do not put your guys in conflict, meaning no matter what they do, they're wrong. Okay, so if you can't be both right and wrong. You're either right or you're wrong. Okay? So auto overhang. Again, you're going to have to see my 3x1 playlist. But I'll just tell you now, purposely, again, I've got the big field, right? Field and free, go to the big field. It doesn't matter what the formation is. Doesn't matter. That's why I purposely put fib formation into boundary, right? 1, 2, 3 receivers into the boundary. Teams still do that. They might have a wide receiver funnel screen. They're hoping to use the sideline to their advantage. I've seen it done, obviously, or I wouldn't be showing you this now. Okay? But here's what's happening, so people don't go, oh my God, you're beating, or you're going to get smoked over here. This is also an automatic. Check steal. Got to see the playlist, but I'll do this for you. For the snap of the ball, safety screws down while the field corner, in this case, field corner, bails on the snap with a tempo bail. It's still Sky. He gets down in the box. Now you got your 7 guys in the box. So see, you got a lot of run support there. Okay, but again, the other playlist will take care of everything else. 2 still detached. He lines up over 2. It's still orbit. Still Sky. See, now see, whip on the hash. Boundary into the boundary. That's why I wanted to show you that. And that's it. They do this for everything. Everything. Which is going to make it simple when we now come down to 21. Okay? Get your guys lined up with simple, consistent rules that you can apply to all formations. Middle of the field, ball in the hash. Okay? So now we're going to go down to 21. 2 backs, 1 tight end. There's a pretty good chance here that you're going to have personnel substitutions. Like for us, the dime becomes a different dude. Up here, this is usually a nickel because the dime's more likely to be a defensive back against 11 personnel. Okay, not always. Sometimes you're lucky you got a hybrid. Sometimes you're uber lucky and you got the big kid that can do both. But me personally, that hasn't happened too often. Okay, so let me go through again. I got a middle of the field scenario. I got a ball in the hash scenario. And please remember, 21 personnel rules. The only guy who's different is the dime. Okay? Everybody else is the same. So now you'll see how that plays out. So we got 21, middle of the field, 21. Again, I hope I see the DBs move up the scrum because that tells me they're alert that they're going to be moved up. All right? So irregardless, again, after I clap, they turn and look at the offense. Irregardless of the formation, end, nose, and stud, left and right, 404, 404, head up. See, everything stays the same. Rover and Mike looking for that tight end. This time it's a right rip. So in 2 back, the pass strength is the 2 receivers, which includes the tight end and 21. 1, tight end's number 2. That's the pass strength side. Okay. So now you got the Rover head up in his 8. Mike is to the right in his B split, inside toe, outside toe. Oh, boom, done. Here's the difference. Dime now goes away from the tight end. See, it's a rip. He doesn't go right. He hears right. He goes left. He's the only guy who's different. He lines up in what we call a ghost, which means pretend there's a tight end there. we say, reach out and touch the hip of your DN, because if you can't, you got to move closer to your DN. That's the ghost. Okay. The arm most likely would be the split between the tight end and the tackle. You follow me? That's how we come to that arrangement. So that's it. That's how we take care of that. And then middle of the field, if it's rip, whip and boundary away. Here's just a little tweak. It's 2 back, run heavy. We move up in the secondary. 1x4, still Oscar. 2x8, the slash for 10. We have had teams passing, long yardage. They're giving you 21. If I go like this, the safeties go from 8 to 10. That's it. Otherwise, they're at 8, 2x8. Okay, that's the reason for the slash. Still sky, double sky, because there's only one number 2, and in this case, he's not detached. The other number 2 is in the backfield. So for us, quarterback under center, fullback, tailback stacked, right? Again, variations, offsets, split back, right? We get all that. You can even do it with with gun, excuse me. Okay? So then, if it's a rip, field and free, go to it. 1x4, 2x8, unless I signal 10, right? Boom, done. Pretty easy. Again, over here on purpose, I got the ball in the hash. I got the big field the same way. Okay? So now this time, it's a right call. So Rover might go right. And no stud, left and right. 4-0-4, 8, BC. Everything's the same. Backer goes away from the tight end. Backer goes away from the tight end. The same. Dime goes away from the tight end. Just so happens that because it's fib again, formation into boundary, they put 2 receivers in a twin formation. So now it's 2 detached. Dime's in orbit. And since it's into the boundary, probably the number 2 is not going to be 5 yards from the tackle. So here we say unless he is a yard or 2 yards from the tackle, you get head up. If he's that close to the tackle, you're going to get outside of number 2 so he can't block down on you. But again, consistent. Boundary into the boundary, 1x4, whip on the hash. Boom, done. Field corner, I'm going to get to in a second, but free, go to the big field regardless of how many receivers there are. In this case, 1 tight end is what we call single width. So the automatic alignment adjustment to single width, meaning the tight end's the edge of the formation. There is no wide receiver. Single width equals corner gets 2x2, check cloud. And 2x2 is off the tight end, so he gets 2 yards wide. And we say, again, landmarks. Put your inside toe in the heel of your D end. I don't even care if it's necessarily 2 full yards. We do everything from the butt. So from the butt to the toe, it's probably 2 yards. But give them tangible landmarks. Stay consistent with that as well. Okay? Last thing here, if it's a heavy run threat and they're just doing this to try and get you out of whack, which they're not, what we can do is switch, the field corner and the free safety. So now the field corner is there and the free safety is there, and that is with a hammer call, which all that does is switch the field corner in this case and the free safety, so you got a bigger guy in run support. So then there'd be no check because it would stay sky. Okay? Huge coaching points here in this presentation. Consistent alignment rules, okay, for personnel groups that have a similarity, like in 11 and 21, 1 tight end, at least 1 running back. So therefore, 10 of 11 guys all do the same thing, and the one guy who doesn't, there's good reason why he doesn't. Okay, and that's the dime. You need to do these things. If you want to be a good defensive football team and get them to play fast with their feet, they have to be able to play fast here, and that starts with comfortably lining up. Hey, You want them to get in a good stance, get out of the stance. Well, they got to be comfortable lining up and not have any questions like, oh my God, am I in the right place? Because then they can't execute whatever the call is. So that's where we come from. And we, again, every practice, every walkthrough, every meeting I've ever had involves an alignment period. 5 minutes, 10 minutes, it varies. Walkthroughs, it might be the entire walkthrough. Meetings, it always involves it, just to go through it so you see the kids become robotic and loving it. You can actually see the confidence when you get to that point. You can see it, you can feel it, and it's a beautiful thing. So again, thank you to the people who have subscribed already. If you haven't, I hope you do. And if you have any questions at all, please reach out to me at coachmjsullivan@gmail.com, because as always, I would love to talk football with you.